The appointment of the new Acting Inspector General of Police, Tunji Disu, has sparked debate over the possible retirement of senior officers in the force. There are concerns that changes at the top could trigger a wave of exits, raising questions about morale, stability, and institutional continuity. Beyond the legal and administrative considerations, analysts warn the situation could have far-reaching implications. A large-scale retirement of senior officers may disrupt command structures, slow leadership transitions, and potentially expose the government to multi-million naira compensation claims. Observers say striking the right balance between reform and adherence to established service rules will be critical to maintain confidence within the Nigeria police force. Joining us now to further this discussion is Professor Yomi Fawehinmi, Human Resources and Change Management Consultant. Professor, thank you so much. I might add, you've got a beautiful name, by the way. Now, Professor, there are suggestions that the appointment of a new Acting Inspector General could result in the retirement of several senior officers. How realistic is this possibility?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, you asked a very great and important question about what happens when we have a new AIG. What has happened over the years and since 1999, and it's really, really very, very unfortunate how we seem. So in the hierarchy of the Nigerian police, there are various cadres of staff and people get promoted. So before the Inspector General of Police is the Deputy Inspector General of Police, and then you have the Assistant Inspector General of Police. What has happened overnight since 1999 to date is that the presidents will, on average, or more often than not, skip the DIGs and go and pick an AIG. Actually, if you check all the Inspector Generals that we have had since 1999, that was, for most of them, that was what happened. They skipped a whole level and then went to an AIG. That happened when the last Inspector General was appointed. It has happened again when Acting Inspector General of Police, so this has also been appointed. You want to ask yourself that question. Why do you promote people to Deputy Inspector General of Police and then you overlook them when it's time for opportunity? What kind of leadership structure do we create where you promote people in what we call a black hole? You know, a black hole role is a role that you get promoted into, but you are not going to have a future in the organization. You are just as good as dead because of the fact that when the next opportunity comes, you are not going to get there. So we have done that as it's almost become a pattern that we need to start to have serious conversations. And why did we create a cadre of the Deputy Inspector General of Police if we will always go to the AIG? We could as well totally remove that cadre and just have the AIG, and then Assistant Inspector General of Police, and that's where you go to become the IGP, and not create a cadre that we just overlook all the time. And it doesn't really help morale, like you said. It also has now become something that has also become basis for legal action. We have had 2 cases in the last 4 years where some DIGs have gone to court and have asked the court that you can't compulsorily retire me. What has also happened some time back is that when people realize that their juniors have been made AIG, they would retire on their own. But then in the last 5-6 years, we've had cases where some DIG has said, "Oh, you can't force me to retire. I joined the police on my own terms. This guy or this lady joined after me. If you choose to appoint him as the AIG, why are you telling me? Why are you expecting me to retire? I'm not going." And then the Inspector General of Police, in some cases, or the PSC, write them and tell them they are compulsory retired. In fact, we had a particular case where the person was not even written. He just heard the announcement on social media that he has been retired. He had no letter saying you have been retired. And 2 of these DIGs have gone to court and they have gotten judgment. In the first case, the court said that in the case of Bull Joseph versus the PSC, the court said this is not constitutional and this is not right, and awarded 14 million against the Police Service Commission for compulsorily retiring this man. They didn't reinstate him. But in another case of Djibouti that happened When the last Egbetokun was appointed as the Inspector General of Police, the man was retired compulsorily. The man went to court and said, "You can't retire me compulsorily." And the court said, "Yeah, that's true." And the court fined the police 50 million naira for what they call embarrassment and also stigma for
Professor,
doing what is unconstitutional. So why do you
Professor,
keep doing it? Yes.
Professor, I'm so sorry. I just want us to get through some of the crucial questions as well. I apologize to cut you there. Now, in terms of transparency, we may not necessarily have the intel, but let's look at the transparency and try and understand how effective communication during leadership transition in security institutions is, to say a little bit lightheaded, and should be crucial.
Did you use the word transparency and the way we run government in Nigeria? I don't think those two things will happen in the same sentence. I mean, people have always said, I mean, part of what we don't do well is also the communication. Because you ask yourself, okay, so we skipped a whole cadre of DIGs to go and pick AIG or Betokun. We have seen the results. I mean, was it like we skipped regular players and went to pick a Lionel Messi or a Ronaldo? No, that was not what we did. We have seen the result. There's no need for me. We don't need to do a post-mortem on its performance. The point is that part of what we don't do well is that we don't also advertise or let people be aware of the criteria for taking the decision. So, you could say, okay, we are appointing this person because he has field experience. Because when you want to check and the current acting IGP has a lot of field experience. Actually, if you actually want to be very sincere, compared to some DIG, he has a lot of more field experience. He has been commissioner of police in the FCT and Rivers State. He has he has led SARS. He has also been the head of RRS in, I think, 2 states. So he has a lot of hands-on experience. So if you really wanted a policeman who understands hands-on, then maybe that's why you select. And then you could announce that. And just to come to the question of transparency, you could say, okay, we appointed him because we felt we wanted a police where the IGP was more hands-on, and we wanted somebody like that. Right. As against a DIG, maybe that was not as hands-on as him. But we don't communicate, and that's what brings all these stories and all these accusations of nepotism, lack of due process, or lack of fairness in overlooking people. Leadership transition is a very, very important time, because if you don't miss it, if you miss the effectiveness of leadership transition and you don't manage it well, you don't manage a change well, then it could be bad for the new leader. Anybody who understands HR knows that a new leader does not have 1 million years to prove his points. Actually, what people say is that your first 100 days, people have already made up their mind whether they are going to support you or to sabotage you. So if you don't set up that new leader for success, which is part of what we have not done very well, the president makes the announcement and doesn't seem to openly, now somebody may say it happens behind, but openly sets this person up for success, reinforce the reason why this person should be the leader and support the person to lead. Then, of course, the DIGs also have their own constituencies. They have people that love them. They have people that care about them. I would feel slighted, unhappy, disappointed, and could affect morale for those DIGs and the people they love. At the end of the day, don't also forget that those DIGs are human beings with emotions and with expectation and hope. You don't become a DIG and don't have a dream to become an IG. So if that is taken from you, you are not happy. Now, the other dimension of it that we should also talk about is that acting IGP Disu is going to be 60 in a couple of weeks. He's going to retire very soon. Now, think about it from this point of view. There are DIGs that are younger than he is. So this man who should retire in the next couple of weeks will no longer retire because the law has been changed to say the IGP can stay longer and finish his time, even though he's over 60 years, as against what is the civil service rule. I'm still surprised that there are no DIGs that have gone to court to say whether that law will actually be a good law. Mm-hmm. Now, that's what we're. So what is going to happen in the next couple of months is that the AIG Disu should retire, but he will only retire because he was appointed the IGP. Now, he will now supervise the retirement of people younger than him and also senior to him.
Right.
So in the next like 3 or 4 DIGs will retire this year, who are younger than IGP Disu, who are also senior to IGP Disu. Yep. It's a system of contradiction. Yes. That a young person is saying you retire.
Right.
I mean, I know that your senior brother is seeing you retire.
Right. Professor Yomi Fawehinmi, a human resources and change management consultant, thank you so much for your time.